Hey everyone, welcome to the Yoga in Black podcast. If you're not new, however, welcome back. I'm Tierney, your host, and this show is all about the experiences of Black yoga and wellness professionals. Each episode, I'm joined with a new guest, and we'll just have a conversation between two peers about our experiences within the yoga and wellness industries, and also highlight where you can find their classes. At the forefront, this show is all about letting you know that Black folks are out here in this wellness industry doing amazing things that you can experience. So with that said, grab your favorite beverage. You know I got mine in the favorite mug. And let's have a chat. This is your friendly reminder that all episodes of this podcast are pre-recorded and some topics or events discussed may be outdated. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Yoga in Black podcast. My name is Tierney. I am your host, and this week I am joined by Jasmyne Hambrick, who is also in the Dallas area with me. Jasmine, I'm shutting up. Tell me about who you are. Tell the people about who you are.
All right. I'm always awkward with these things. So, hey, I'm Jasmine. You can call me Jazz or Jazzers, which is my Instagram handle. I'm from Oak Cliff, Texas, which, shout out to them, right? And yeah, I'm a yoga instructor since June 9th or something like that. I've been going strong. I got into it because it's like one of the very few things that can kind of keep me in the moment, that can kind of stop my brain from, running miles and getting away from me and intrusive thoughts and all of those things. And I mean, as a practitioner, like, I realized how much I loved it. And then I felt like I could offer the same type of thing to people who are probably in the same position or a similar position to me. So that's a little bit about why I got into it. Aside from the yoga life, I'm super into plants. I'm a flight attendant full time. I am pregnant with my first child, so that's also terrifyingly exciting. And I always like to tell people one of my hobbies are that I like to dance, but then they're like, oh yeah, like professionally. I'm like, absolutely not. I just like to do it. So if you see me doing it, it might not look good, but I like it. So
That's all that matters. You're having fun.
Right. Exactly. We're just going with the music. That's cool. Yes. And let's see. And then I sew. I like to make my own clothes. So that's a cool thing. And I think that's all I got for now. Yeah. As like my intro, at least.
Okay.
I think.
You gave me so many different little nuggets of things, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But I need to go back to the clothes. When did you start doing that?
I have been altering and making my own clothes since I was like 5. But wow. I didn't get my first sewing machine until my mom got me one when I was like 19. So I'm 27 now. So it's been a few years of actually sewing and actually like, not professionally, but I would say that I'm pretty up there as opposed to when I'm a kid. I got this little needle and thread trying to make full ass like pants and stuff. It wasn't cool, but it worked. So a few years. Yeah.
Wow. I know. I totally stalk you on Instagram. I stalk everybody on Instagram. I'm just going to say.
I'm the same way.
And the things that I have seen you create have been so cool. Like it's so edgy, but it looks comfortable and just fun. I love it. Your style is great.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So y'all, check her out at Jazzers. Spell it for me real quick.
So if you like, usually I just have people type in JASSERS and it'll pull me up because the actual Jazzers is some dude that I can't get in contact with to give me the just one J. So I had to put a J in front of it. J. Yeah, but he's not active. So you know what? I just claim it, and one of these days he'll respond and then I'll change it. But for now, just Jazzers. It's fine.
That happened with the Yoga in Black handle too. Like someone is just holding on to just Yoga in Black all as one word. So I had to add the period after yoga. Like, come on. Give it to
And
me.
they don't even use it. It's the
Give it to
people
me.
that don't get on. I'm like, come on, bro. What are you doing?
Single post, not nothing. I'm like, come on. And this is going to be confusing, down the line, because the website is just Yoga in Black and everything else is just Yoga in Black. Now I got to have Yoga in Black for Instagram because somebody wants to hold on to a profile. Like, I'm going to get your number.
You're going to find them. Contact Instagram support, and then they're not going to do anything either. But still, it's fine.
Not at all. Okay, so wait, you said you got your cert in June of last year?
Oh wow, we are in 23. Yeah, June of 22. Mm-hmm.
Nice. How has that been? Because you're real close to first year.
Yeah, it's been, I can't even describe it. Like when I think about it, it makes me really happy because I knew immediately that I wanted to teach. Like I went to YTT because I wanted to become an instructor, but well, are you asking about training or are you asking about how it's been since after training?
All of the above.
All the things. Listen, I can trail off. It'll happen. Okay. So
I invite all of the tangents. Go.
Okay, cool. So just a little bit with training, like I went into it, I knew it wasn't going to be just like, them teaching us like how to teach people and poses and everything, but I wasn't expecting it was 6 months of training, right? It's good. You can't just do asanas and vinyasas the whole freaking time. So I learned a lot about like spirituality. I got into a lot of the like Sanskrit words and things that I didn't even really think about until I got to YTT. I met wonderful people. Our instructors were awesome. One of them was the one who kind of convinced me to go to YTT. Her name's Shayla, and she's over at the Swan. So if y'all ever see her, but training. So yeah, that was great. Now, as far as teaching, I don't want to call it lucky because I worked my ass off, but I immediately was able to teach like 2 weeks after, I want to say, with Mind Your Mat. So I went in like strong. Like I was like, okay, as soon as y'all give me an opportunity to audition somewhere, I'm ready to do it. Like, cause it's better for me to like go, or if I don't, I'm going to just be like, we'll get to it. And then it never happens. But I've taught a good amount of classes. I've definitely grown. A lot of the feedback that I've gotten as an instructor is like, I'm fast because I'm just trying to get through it and make sure, and that's not the point, right? Like, so I took that in really to heart because that's how I am in life. It's like, I just want to get shit done. Like I'm trying to do this thing so I can get to the next thing. Yeah. So I'm learning myself, I'm learning my style, and it's just been great. Like you meet so many people who come up and they're like, oh my gosh, your voice is so like soothing, but at the same time you're kicking our ass. And I'm like, I'm not trying to, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Right. But at least you feel comfortable with me for me to kick your ass. Cause I've had some aggressive teachers, but yeah. So long story short, it's been awesome. And I feel like I'm going to grow and so many things are going to come from this. And I'm just excited to see how it's going to turn out.
Yeah. That compliment is so interesting to me because I've received that same one too. It's like, your voice is very soothing and very calming, but man, that was intense. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, you like my voice?
I think the same thing, bro.
Like, mine? This thing? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild that there's folks that are like into that. And every time I hear myself talk, I'm like, God, girl, shut up.
I'm the same way. It was the last compliment. Yeah. It was the last compliment that I expected. But I tried, how that imposter syndrome, it's like, you're lying to me, whatever. But after like, when I heard it from friends and people that I knew, I was like, whatever. But then strangers were like, no, seriously, like, it's awesome. Like, you sound so confident and you make us feel confident. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So I accept it now, I think.
Yeah. I'm doing a lot better with it. And it's like, okay, you got to stop being so hard on yourself, T. Like, if more than one person is saying it and they're outside of your family, there might be something to it. Stop
There might
talking
be.
yourself out of, accepting something nice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
And even like from your, like, at least for me personally, like my friend group and my mom, they will tell me like it is. Like even my dad will be like, Jasmine, like bring it down. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I don't think they'll lie to me, but we got the bias from like close relationships. So of course I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
you're just trying to make me feel better. But I've learned to trust that they will tell me like it is if they need to.
Yeah.
But
So since you are now expecting and still, in your first year of teaching, how has it shaped or, your emerging experience with expecting a newborn? How has it shaped your practice and your teaching?
girl, okay, teaching is fine. Like I just walk around a room and instruct and correct and stuff like that. Make sure nobody's going to break a bone or something. But practice has been, it's like I don't know yoga anymore, or my body doesn't, right? Like I'm growing this. I have to remind myself, like literally, even if I'm not practicing and I get discouraged about going to take a flow, I have to remind myself that I'm literally growing this little human and it's different. But I'm that person, that's something I'm working on, but I'm that person that's like, I know how to do this. Why am I not doing it? Right. But I know it's like, I researched it. I'm that person that also looks into everything. And one of the first things they were talking about was like, you're going to have a different center of gravity. Your balance is going to be off. You're going to be working harder with more weight, obviously, because you're putting on weight with this baby. And I just remember I went to a flow and I took a child's pose and I was like, oh, this is going to be some hard shit. And I was like, because I was like, wow, like I love balance poses. So anything on one leg or like inversions, especially like any of that stuff is my jam. Like I like getting upside down. And I think I was trying to do Warrior 3 and almost like rolled over. And I was like, what is this? I was safe. Like I'm definitely that's my number one priority. Like try not to fall. Yeah. And if I know that I'm going to fall, I'm not even going to try it kind of thing. But practice wise, it has been, I have to be like patient with myself and have that grace to to keep saying like, Jasmine, like you are not the same person. You're never going to be, your body's not going to be the same. And it gets hard. Like I still have days like today I was going to go to a flow and I just like talked myself out of it because I was like, I'm not going to go here with my friends who I compete with. Like I have some people that I flow with because we like to feed off of each other's like challenge. Yeah. And then I'm going to be sitting there like, just take like 10 child's poses while you're over here doing handstands and shit. It's fine. But I enjoy that. Like I like to see people do like extra, but then I also like to see people relax. And I had one lady come up to me. I think it was a beginner flow, but a lot of us go to beginner flows, but we all know what we're doing and
I love a good beginner class.
You can always learn something or challenge and try something new.
Yes.
Yeah. But a lady was like, I loved seeing you just like sit down, like, and it made me feel good because I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I want to encourage other people to take a rest if they're tired or if they can't keep going at that moment. So it's a reminder to myself. So practice definitely has been rough. Teaching, it's the same thing. Like, I actually think it's helping because, I get my steps in because I'm walking around the room and kind of, checking on people. But it's the practice part that has been difficult. And I know it's just going to get even more challenging. I just have to remember to like be patient with myself and remember that it's like, it's not just you anymore.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I think that's one of the beautiful things about yoga. I mean, there's so many beautiful things about yoga. And I know I've said this multiple times on other episodes, but another piece of it is the fact that the practice finds you where you are and still will provide you with all of the things that you need, even if it feels different and looks different. Yeah. So whatever you needed in that moment, you'll still be able to get it through your practice. Oh yeah. I love that about yoga because it molds itself right into you.
It's definitely something like when I do flow, like when I have the time, and today was one of the rare occasions where I was like, no, I'm not gonna go. And I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
was my body saying like, you don't need to do it today. But like when I go and I finish a flow, like I'm fine. I'm like, oh, that was good. Like you did a good job. And
Yeah.
I have gotten mixed advice about like my heart rate. Like my heart rate shouldn't get past a certain point. But then I'm also told, no, it's not that. It's just how are you feeling? Like don't pass out. So
Yeah.
if I feel like I can't catch my breath, I'm like, no, I'm going to sit down. I do that anyways, right? It's just more often now. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like you just said, it's one of those things where it's like, you're going to get what you need regardless. Like, it's fine if you don't do the crow pose or the handstand, which I refuse right now, but it's cool. It's not a big deal. Just, I take it, I think every time I practice, like it's less weight to carry. I think that's
Yeah.
the way I want to put it. Yeah.
That's so dope. Do you plan on introducing yoga to little one very, very early?
When it's safe, like when
Yeah.
she's a toddler and, she can move around and be silly, like obviously, like I'm not going to make her practice anything, but I definitely am probably going to do, like, obviously I'm going to be watching her, right? So she's going to be seeing what I'm doing and I'm sure she'll pick it up. And if she likes it, cool. I want to be the type of parent that gives her as many choices as she can have. Like I want her to decide on all of that stuff. So if she gets to a point where she can say like, oh, I want to do yoga with you, I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, like let's go. But if she's like, no, I'm gonna go do something with dad or whatever, I'm like, all right, cool, it's fine. I'm gonna go do a flow for an hour or something. That's actually something I want to look into, is just figure out like when I've seen like three, and the Instagrams of the moms and their little babies doing headstands. It's so cute. And that's why I'm like, oh my God, that's exciting. But it's only if it's like organic, right? Like if she's just there with me, then cool. If not, it's also cool. It's fine.
Yeah. I think one thing I like about introducing kids to aspects of yoga is those pieces that maybe less movement focused and more maybe like breath work focused. Because man, do kids need that help with the temper tantrums?
That's
like take your big breaths, count to 5.
I mean, and we need it. A lot of us adults need it too. I'll tell you that much. But myself included.
Every day.
I definitely, even before I got pregnant, like I did research on, I don't know what it was called, if there was a specific name, but basically just like kid yoga. Because I have ADHD and I had it when I was a kid, obviously, and I didn't have that anything to kind of help like regulate all that stuff. So I want to provide it in a way where it's breath work, teaching them how to meditate, however that would help them. And yeah, like getting them so like to move around so much that they tire themselves out so they don't have to be bouncing off walls to a point where it's uncomfortable for them, right? We all need to move. But yeah, like I'm not ready for it yet, but I definitely think soon, especially because I have my own kid, right? Like I want to look into to those tools.
For sure. I know I always have felt like I wanted to do more kids yoga, but even though, and I've spent my entire life, around the education system, childcare, all of that. So it's not like I don't have, firsthand experience with kids. I went to school for elementary education. Like it's what I thought I was going to end up doing. But for some reason now in this point in my life, I'm like, I don't know if I could do it because I know I'm going to say some things that parents probably aren't going to be kosher with. It's like, I need to refine myself a little bit more and find ways that I can talk to and relate to the kids without losing my authenticity, but not being too authentic.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You got to find that line. Yeah.
Because the kids need it. They need it so bad. Because just like you said, finding ways to channel that energy is super important. Finding ways to regulate your emotions through your breath work, super important. Finding ways to, stay in connection with all those things through meditation, even more important. Like you need all that stuff Shit, well before you're fucking 10.
I mean, freaking 2-year-olds with the, they call it
Man,
the terrible
the
twos.
twos
So
and the three-nager stage.
yeah.
Man, that is an
You said
interesting. Sorry, go
you
ahead.
said that you were you majored in education or what?
Mm-hmm.
So what were you planning on doing with that?
Oh gosh. So I was planning on doing my student teaching down here because I'm originally from Iowa. Planned on doing my student teaching down here and just like never coming back to Iowa and just living down here. But full transparency on my situation, I had some really tough times in college where I can't remember what year specifically it was, but I lost 3 family members within 4 to 5 months, and I was depressed as hell. And so, of course, my grades went down the drain, and that affected my ability to get into the teacher ed program by 0.1 point in my grade point average. So when they told me that, and I'm like, can I like write an essay of some sort or something? Like, can I like appeal to someone like to just, it's just 0.1 points. Like, come on. They wouldn't budge. So I'm like, all right, well then fine, just change my major. So I didn't end up finishing the teacher ed program, but I still was able to graduate with a degree that was based in education since I had spent so much time in the elementary education program anyway. And I kind of had plans to work within schools because I really wanted to be a cheerleading coach. But I still was able to do that without having to teach. So I'm like, see, I can still do it. It's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
But now I'm doing this. And I'm like, I think this maybe was the teaching that I was supposed to be doing. So, finding my way through things. But yeah. So I would love to, get back into, helping kids a little bit more. But I need to refine my mouth.
I feel that. That's funny. My mom asked me that too. She was like, full disclosure, I have a terrible potty mouth. Like and they don't know where it comes from because my mom and dad don't cuss a lot, but
really,
it's rough. And I mean, I'm proud of it, honestly. Like I just call them sentence enhancers, right? Like, why are you so offended by me cussing? But anyways, if that's something, like with a kid coming, I do. And my boyfriend asked me the same thing as like, or we talked about it. It's like, there's nothing wrong with it. But, when you have a kid, it's like, they can't be going to school cussing out their teacher or using that towards someone in a negative way, which that's not really how I cuss. It's like I said, like I'm enhancing that's a terrible excuse, but yeah. But I definitely want to reel it in for her so that she doesn't think that's the only way to enhance her sentences. Like there are other words that you can use, but I mean, I'm an adult. I can do what I want. So it's different. But I feel that definitely want to, I think I don't have a choice at this point, but I definitely want to, same thing, like filter and not, if I do get into the kid yoga thing, like not kind of push too hard with the words. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Don't even want to try it.
I think also where I get hung up is because I know I'm capable of it because I could totally just, code switch right into the customer service voice. But I don't feel like that's an authentic representation of me. And kids see through that. Kids see through that so easy. So it's like, I'd rather be a genuine version of myself, but, be mindful of the things that are talked about and whatnot. But I still want to be honest if, questions do come up. But again, still mindful of the fact that this ain't my kid. I gotta make sure I'm not, imparting knowledge that their parents, didn't deem them ready for. But in my opinion, and I don't care who says anything about it, if a kid is old enough to ask the question and figure out how to even, put the words together to ask the question, they're old enough and mature enough to understand the answer.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. So just give them the answer, please.
Yeah. I feel like, especially maybe in the yoga, like if it's going to be yoga directed, like I feel like a lot of those parents are understanding of that. And even like, one thing that I do respect are parents who do offer information instead of just because I said so, or no, because I'm the adult, you know, like that's just not a valid reasoning. And, you know, that we're not going to get into all of that, but yeah, you know, I feel like if parents are like, if a kid asks a question and they are given an answer, then the parents can probably trust that if they ask you or me or whoever's another kid teaching or a educational figure,
trusted adult.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I trust that you're not going to say anything crazy, but if you do, I also trust my kid to come back to me and let me know. And then we can all figure it out.
Yeah. Talk it out.
So.
Love that. Tell me about your experience a little bit more, because I know you kind of like dibbled into it. But tell me about your experience with teacher training. What was it like for you? What kind of things were brought up for you? Because what I'm just curious to see if it's just true that anytime anyone goes through a teacher training, you have this awakening of sorts. So what was the experience like for you?
It definitely was not an awakening feeling. I did think that I would go through one, but it was I want to find the right word, but I don't think I'm going to, so I'm not going to try to sit on it for too long. But it was an environment where I felt the need to talk more, right? Like a lot of, I can ramble. I mean, you have ADHD too, so you understand that I will start talking, and if you don't stop me, it's over. We're just we're gonna be here. But and that with that, like if I'm not around like people that I'm comfortable with, that I know will tell me like, okay, we're getting sidetracked, like I just don't talk. I love to listen either way, but in training, like I didn't get that feeling of like, oh, I'm gonna be quiet or this is gonna be embarrassing. Like I never got a feeling of silencing myself. Like whenever we talked about different writing prompts or we talked about different things and the instructors opened the floor for us to discuss, I felt like I needed to share my voice because no one else disclosed like their mental health things. And that's another reason why I announced that I have ADHD, because I feel like a lot of mental health things are frowned upon. And even if people say that they're not, there's still a stigma there. And I can see it anytime I talk about it, you know, and that's what's annoying to me. So in training, I let everybody know immediately, like, yeah, you know, I have ADHD. These are some of the things that come with that. And so when we would get into not even just ADHD, but just like personality wise, even like we would talk about certain things, I would hear a lot of people sharing the same exact thing. And I'm like, no, it's not about even arguing or debating. It's like, I want to add this different thing in case somebody in here wants to, and they don't have the voice or don't feel comfortable. And one of the girls in my training class, she actually applauded me. She was like, no, like, I like that you want to speak up and share your differences, because you might be speaking for somebody else in here that is not comfortable with sharing just yet. And I was like, well, thank you. She's super sweet. But yeah, so I felt like I had a voice. There were some things that I didn't quite catch on with as fast. Like the anatomy thing was fun, you know, all the scientific names and all that stuff. I mean, it made sense, right? Because it's our body. But when you get into specifics and they wanted us to kind of start bringing into these anatomy-based cues, I was like, oh, okay. I'm just going to say the quads. I'm going to say all this extra money.
Right into lay terms because I can't do it. Like, I don't know what it is about abduction and adduction that I cannot connect. But it's just, I have to literally Google it every time that I'm encountered with it. Like, which one is that? Damn it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And I had one of the instructors, God bless him. He definitely was very patient, because I would be that one person. Wait, okay. Can you go back and explain that again? Okay. Show me an example. Everybody else is ready to move on. And I'm like, no, I don't get it. What are you talking about?
Help me.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a very positive. I didn't have very many complaints. I had some, but they were, you know, minor. And I don't think it was because of YTT. I think it's just like any setting where not everybody is on the exact same page, right? Like there's going to be something. But it was, It was a good experience. I definitely look forward to the next actual in-person training. I'm
Yeah.
taking a couple of online ones right now, but it's very
Ooh.
different. I like to be hands-on and in the
Yeah.
space. So,
Which trainings are you in?
I just finished prenatal
Nice.
and um, I almost said restorative. I mean, it's technically restorative. I just started yin,
Nice.
so that's been
Now I
cool.
need to do a yin. I want to do an official yin training because we did some in my
Mhm,
200 hour, and of course we did some in the 300 hour too. But
mhm,
I want to know more
mhm.
because I'm like you. I've always got questions and I need the answers, and I'm like searching and researching and trying to learn as much as possible. But yin is definitely next up on the certificate menu. But I just finished the 300 hour and I'm tired. So
You inspired me to look into it though. I saw that you got your certification. I was like,
and
dang, I need to get on that. And then,
it's
whew,
great. It was such a great experience. Like I'm still on a WhatsApp with my cohort. We
mhm.
still all talk to each other like practically every day. Like they were an amazing group of people. It was a really large group, so I'm grateful that we were able to break up into cohorts to just kind of have a little bit more interpersonal interaction with each other. But man, I love them people. They're the
That's
greatest.
awesome.
Yes.
Was this online?
Yeah. So that's what
But
made
it
it
was like
even
a Zoom
cooler.
kind of,
Yeah. Like we
yeah.
did everything in Zoom or there were video modules of like the lessons to watch. So that was really helpful for me having ADHD. I could go back and like, what'd she say?
Yes.
Write this down real quick. What was that? Okay, good, good, good. Got it. Because the mind will drift. As I'm glad you mentioned that about how open you were with the things going on with you because yeah, I've got ADHD too, and wasn't like fully aware or at least ready to embrace it until
Hmm.
probably like right around the time that I got here. And I always had my questions on if I was autistic too, and yeah,
Same.
took
Yeah.
took some assessments and passed all of them with flying colors. So I'm like, okay, that's a thing too. Got it. So I've been working on being more vocal and open about it because it does, describe some things that go on with me. It does, kind
Hmm.
of color the experience that people will have with me because of whatever, it may be as far as like social interactions go or external stimulation goes or
Yeah, for
all of
sure.
those things. So, thank you for being so, open and vocal about it and just allowing others to be comfortable with that within themselves too. Cause it's part of that representation thing. When you see somebody else doing it and standing in it and being confident, it just makes you feel so much more confident in yourself to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, man. I definitely have my moments where it's not about being afraid to talk about it or share it. It's more so about I can already feel if I say something about it, it's going to be a long conversation and a lot of defensiveness, not on my end, but on the other person's end as to why
Yes.
it's a problem to them or why not and how that's not, I so
No,
I'm
you're
just
not.
like, yeah,
That's the one that
it's
I love. No, you're not. Like,
it,
you don't know my life.
and it's like they say it and what drives me crazy is when they say it like, oh no, don't say that. It's like,
Yeah.
why are you taking this as a negative thing though? Why do you see this as a negative thing? It's not. It's just I don't even want to call it a personality trait. It's just something that is a part of who you are, whether it be based on trauma or whatever the hell or wherever it came from. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there are definitely situations where I feel no need um to express that I have it unless like I think the reason in YTT that I brought it up a couple of times was because I was having one of those rough days where I couldn't focus and I didn't want to be
Mm-hmm.
bothered because when I'm overstimulated or I'm just tired, I just shut down and I don't want to be around people. Very
Yeah.
introverted.
Yes.
So I would have to be like, yeah, it's one of those days. It's not you, it's me. So I'm chilling, we're fine. But so what's happening. And especially in our community, there is
because it won't be attributed to the ADHD. It'll be attributed to the race. And it's like, why you got to do that?
Yeah.
This is a personal thing going on with me as an individual. This is not a representation of Black people and how we behave and act or whatever. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
It's and it be your own people sometimes too. So.
Very true. Very true.
But
so I'm curious though, because we're on this tangent about ADHD and stuff. And because you kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want to know a little bit more, because again, here I am just digging a little deeper on things.
It's cool, no problem.
What ways do you use the practice to help you kind of manage the ADHD?
Actively, like if I'm actually at a flow, or if I'm doing something at home, whatever it may be, a way to kind of get out of my head. That's why I like challenge, because when I'm in challenging poses, I don't have a choice. Like if I don't focus, I'm gonna hurt myself. I've learned that very quickly. But I'm working on not needing that challenge to be able to be in the space. And it's definitely gotten better over the years. I've been practicing for maybe like 6 or 7 years now. Holy shit. Yeah. It's a long
that
time.
Number jumps up and buzz on you real quick.
Just thought about that. Wow. But yeah, so when it's not a challenging flow or whatever, I definitely still have those moments where I get distracted, where, especially if it's like in the middle of my day, or if it's a morning class, I'm like, okay, I got to go do this after class. I'm supposed to get this done. This was bothering me earlier. And I literally just get this like, hey, where are you at right now? And I kind of, I take a breath. Breathing really works, man. Like I never thought of how important it is, but I try to take a breath. The breathing, like, and that's something that I try to do in my, like, when I teach, is come back to your breath. Like if you get distracted, take a deep breath, because it works. Like it forces you to focus on something aside from all of these little ping pong balls banging around in your head. So if I get a flow where the instructor is kind of taking us through the same flow, like, warrior 2, reverse warrior, extended side angle, then I try to find ways to either deepen it or make a different hand gesture, or like see how I can focus on my body, or I'll just try to do breathing. It doesn't work all the time. It's definitely still something that I feel like I'm going to be mastering for the rest of my life, but it's just, I always find new ways, different ways, or new or different ways to do whatever pose it is. Even if it's just child's pose, I'm like, okay, how can I go deeper into this pose? Or this is uncomfortable. How do I fix this? So it's definitely, I'm still thinking, but I'm thinking about what's happening now as opposed to what was happening yesterday or what's going to happen later. That whole like mindfulness, being in the moment, is literally what I have to do. Otherwise, again, I'm going to hurt myself because I'm clumsy as it is. It's not a good thing.
Who are you telling? Oh my goodness. I trip over air. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you're just walking, T. Why are you falling? What happened? There's nothing in your way.
You get those random little bruises all over your body. Like, where did this come? Or cuts and scrapes.
Idea. Not a single clue. Oh my goodness. I've done so much better over the last few months, but I'm pretty sure I've just jinxed myself.
Find some wood.
I'll wake up tomorrow with some little gash or something, like, oh, that's cool. Oh no, I'm lying. I had a cut on my hand was it last week? I don't even know where it came from. I was washing my hands and it started stinging really hard. I'm like, what happened? Like, I just washed my hands not that long ago and now I'm washing them again. What'd I do? But no, what you said about the mindfulness piece, that is extremely, extremely helpful, because that's a lot of the same things that I do too. I also find myself kind of ruminating on, what's coming next? What do I things that I need to do, or a memory pops up of something, I don't know, and then I just go off into a black hole of dredging up old stuff, and I'm like, where are you now though?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to be doing right now?
It's the though at the end that helps. It's like, what are you doing though?
Yeah. And sometimes I have to like really tap into like my senses, because my mind will still be like, yeah, okay, I know we're here doing this, but there's still this thing, and then I'm like, no. What's a smell that you can pick up?
Yeah, it's the
like,
senses thing for sure.
Right, what can you look at right now? Like, otherwise, the mind will just go on and on and on and on, and it's
exhausting sometimes.
It really is, and that's probably why I'm so tired all the time too. Because I'm just thinking all of the time. Doesn't stop.
I mean, honestly, I remember having somebody comment on, they were like, oh, how are you doing? I was like, man, I'm tired. And she was like, Jasmine, you're tired all the time. What's wrong? And I didn't know how to answer it because I didn't know why. I had no clue. And I mean, as I think about it more, it's like, well, because I'm always thinking, like, that's all that's happening. And it's exhausting. You can't turn your brain off. I had, therapists recommend, oh yeah, just meditate. This is before I tried to get into YTT. And I had never taken a meditation class, but my therapist would be like, oh yeah, why don't you meditate? And I'm like, you want me to sit still and not think, right? Okay.
Yeah. No. I can't even remember which instructor it was that I went to that just revolutionized meditation for me, because I was always thinking that there's no way I'm going to be able to just sit here and make my mind be quiet, because if I sit here long enough, I'm just going to fall asleep. And that's exactly what would happen. Like, it happened every time, because like we focused quite a bit on meditation in my 200 hour. And every time that we had our meditation time, I'd like try so many different body positions. I'm like, okay, get up against the wall and sit upright. All the cushions underneath your booty, make sure the hips are good, stable, blah, blah, blah. I'd sit there, and next thing I know, shit. I'm like, damn, I did it again.
See, it's like mine is not falling asleep, obviously, unless I'm tired and in bed or something. It's the thinking. But one thing in YTT, I learned there are different types of meditation. You don't have to sit still. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, I can be a pro meditator. Let me go, and he explained.
This stays with me.
See, I want to I tried to make, I wish I had it with me.
Yeah.
I tried to make one. It's so ugly. It's so ugly.
It still serves the purpose.
I want to make another one. I have better skills now. Like, I'm a DIYer, like through and through, but that thing, it's hanging on my wall over there. But, he talked about different types of meditation. So obviously it's just sitting down, breathing. I liked the walking meditation because monks do it where you have to just walk, and then you walk slower and slower and slower until it's like you're not moving. And I'm challenging myself because I'm like, oh, how slow can I go now? But I'm having to think about this speed and not anything else. And of course, thoughts come and go, but it's, one of the girls in my training class, she like the way she thought was amazing. And she's like, to see it as a door, you have to open every single door that comes by. And it's like, no, I don't. Like, I can see the door, but I'm gonna be like, oh, there's a door. Yeah, I'm gonna keep moving. I got a lot of good from her, and she was one of us too. I was like, oh, okay.
Hey. Yes. I know, because I didn't even finish that thought, because what this instructor had told me was, you don't necessarily have to make your mind be quiet, but you can just, take a moment to really organize the thoughts, listen to what it is that you're actually having come up. And if it's something that you need to be focused on, focus on it. But if not, acknowledge that it's there, but then keep moving.
Yeah, like, the acknowledgement thing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because the thoughts are just going to be there, is what I realized. It's like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get rid of them, but can I at least compartmentalize what they are and what they mean? And if they are important for right now, then let them be in right now. But if not, keep it moving into something else. Like, huh. And now it feels so much better to meditate. It took a few years for me to get to that point, but now it feels so much better.
I definitely feel like it's always going to be, you know, a learning practice. But I was going to ask you, like you said, if there's something you need to focus on, then focus on it. And I need to work on finding out what needs to be focused on and what I just want to focus on because I just came across this thought and I want to think about it. So I was going to ask you, like, how well does that work for you? Is like finding that focal point and actually deciding if it's something like, because I've had people say like, oh, if it keeps coming up while you're in meditation, or if it comes up while you're meditating, then it means that it's something you can't let go of. And it's like, but I mean, I got a bajillion things coming up while I'm meditating. Not all of these things mean something. They're just thoughts, right? So that's what I want to work on too, is like you said, compartmentalizing, like putting these things into like, or even prioritizing from, you know, top to bottom or whatever.
And that's essentially what I'll do is whatever comes to mind, it's like, what purpose does this thought serve? And if it's something that is actually important to me right now or in the near future, maybe it can stay. But if it's something I'm just dwelling over for no fucking reason, get rid of it. Like you experienced it. It was there. It's time for it to go now. And I'll fully admit I was having a really tough time with, you know, a lot of different thoughts through the last 3-4 months within my own personal practice, where it was difficult for me to just sit with myself because these thoughts just kept popping up. And I knew that they didn't actually serve any purpose. It was just me almost doing like a bit of a mental self-harm. And it's like, these aren't doing anything for you. They can't progress you anywhere. They can't assist you in anything. They're only keeping you either in this place or pulling you back. And that's not good for you. Let them go. They served whatever purpose they may have had when they needed to be fresh. They ain't fresh no more. It's rotten. It stinks. Get it out. So that's what helps me a lot with trying to figure out which ones actually need to stay, which needs to go. Just identifying which one's actually going to serve a beneficial purpose to me, because that prioritization piece is important.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to take that and use that to help, because I do not meditate enough. I can admit to that for sure. Like that and gratitude, like writing down, journaling gratitude, it helps too. And it's like, Jasmine, this shit helps you and you can't do it. Not that you can't do it, but it's a
challenge.
Yeah. And my boyfriend tries to help me a lot with that, is like blaming everything on ADHD, because I don't try to, but once I learned, like you said, you found out or embraced it when you came to Texas. I forgot I had it. I mean, I was a kid, like very young, elementary school, when I was on medication and stuff. And I asked my mom, I was like, when I was, in therapy, they asked you like, oh, do you have anxiety? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hey, what did I have? She's like, anxiety. And I was like, learning like these things, trying to understand myself. And a lot of, I did the assessments and checked a lot of boxes. And I was like, what about ADHD? She's like, yeah, I told you that. It's like, no, you didn't. Like, no, you didn't. So, but see, I just got sidetracked. But what I was going to say, one of the things with ADHD, I forgot. What were we talking about?
Crap. You can't get people. I was afraid this was going to happen in one of these episodes. I'm like, I know I'm going to get somebody that also has ADHD, and we're going to get to a point where both of us have forgotten what we were talking about.
It was good too. Oh my gosh. I was going to say, I don't want to blame this on, sticking to a routine. That's what it was. Like, I want to do it. I know that I should do it or can, or that it will benefit me, but I'll do it for like a week straight. And this could be anything other than yoga. Yoga is the only thing I'm not going to say that. Yoga is one of the very few things that I can stick to. But like weight training, I was doing that and I was getting biceps. I was like, okay. Yes. And I stopped. And I was like, okay. Right. It's like, God damn it. What is going on here? So the same thing with meditation and journaling and all those things. It's like, wow, these things actually help, but I'm not going to do them.
Yeah. Yoga's been the only constant thread that I've been able to keep hold of. And because, like, just how you had that, oh shit, it's been how many years moment? I do that every year that someone asks me, how long have you been practicing? And I'll say the number. I'm like, me? Stuck to something for multiple years?
Yeah.
Damn. This thing must be nice.
Yeah. That's kind of how I see it too. Is like, okay, if I can stick to this is actually, unless it's something bad, obviously, right? But like yoga, for example, is it's a good thing. There's this.
Yes.
I was going to share with you this. What is it called? It's a website or a forum for different things. It's called Stuff That Works, and it's for what is this one girl? She calls them neurospicy.
Yeah,
neurodivergent or whatever. But it doesn't even have to be for anything specific, but it's just like, even if it's symptoms of something or a personality thing that you have or trauma or whatever. And I asked people, I was like, how do y'all stick to working out? And a lot of people were like, I don't. Like, I do it when I feel like it, or I find something that I want to do that I get that reward or dopamine stimulation. And if that's something that I keep doing, then great. But if it's something that I have to force myself to do, then that means I don't need to be doing it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Man,
but I need some kind of discipline.
That just put a light bulb into my head on working out, because my relationship with it has been very inconsistent my whole life. Mm-hmm. But I'm in a fitness challenge right now, and it makes absolute sense why I've been so consistent with it, because it's a short period of time. Mm-hmm. So it's consumable, but I am expecting some type of reward at the end. So it'll provide that dopamine that I need. But I also need the assistance and a personal trainer. So grateful for him, because otherwise, if I were to be left to my own devices, I'd opt for bed.
Same. Or and the couch or whatever. Yeah.
And not do a damn thing. So I need a body double.
Yeah. And I've heard that works really well.
Yeah. And so, like, the trainer I used as a body double, like, okay, I have to, I don't know, maybe it's like a dutiful thing in me. It's like, gotta do this, otherwise I'm going to upset my trainer. Can't do that, because there's the people pleasing thing going on in my head.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know how good that is, but if it's going to put me on a path to doing things that I actually enjoy, because it's not like I don't like working out. Not every day. I don't always like working out, but I do enjoy the feeling that I get from doing it.
Yeah.
I like to feel strong, and I wasn't feeling like that anymore. Like, so I need to get that back, but I didn't know how to do it without having some type of reward system or responsibility system attached to it. I'm like, Look at this. Perfect.
Right.
So it's finding those little cheat codes, but yoga has been the biggest cheat code for the last almost decade, because it makes me be able to actually listen to my thoughts a little bit more in depth to figure out, what's actually happening, so that I'm not just getting lost in the string of thoughts that end up leading me to nowhere.
Right.
I actually get a destination because I'm actually able to sit with myself a little bit more. So it ain't going nowhere. Yoga's with me forever.
I agree. I feel like I'm going to stick with it for a very long time. I have a lot that I want to do with it. So,
and
that's why I love
so
what you're
much
doing.
To learn. Like, I just feel like the surface is being scratched, and I just want to learn so much more throughout the next however many years that I make it in this earth.
Yes. I as this was saying, is like, I love what you're doing, because it's giving me more and more reason to stick with it. It's like, okay, she's got this podcast, and I want to listen to these episodes and just kind of see how many different people use yoga for different things, or the same things, or, whatever. And it's just, people look at it as just like, oh, we're going to do handstands and hard
It's
stuff. And
exercise, yeah.
yeah, and it's not. I mean, it is, right? Obviously, but that's not all it is. But if that's what you want to do it for, that's also cool. Like, that's
Yeah.
something else that I've accepted. And I did pretty quickly. Like, when I took this one instructor's class, it was like a boot camp. And I was like, that is not for me. But some people do want to just use yoga to exercise and get their cardio in. And I'm like, that's great. There's no right or wrong way to practice, I think, or to implement it, I should say.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I will always use all of its many different tools and paths and whatnot just to make sure that I'm able to live my life in a way that keeps me from being too bogged down, because I can get there real easy.
Yeah, I feel that.
Wow. We are really getting close to the end of our time together. So, since we are getting so close, I do want to ask you my traditional question that I ask everybody.
Okay.
What advice would you give to someone that is looking to start their practice? And what advice would you give to someone that has been practicing for a while and wants to move into teaching? So, two-part question.
So, what advice do I want to give to someone who wants to start practice? Okay. First thing is, just because you see these people on Instagram, or even if you go to a flow doing all this crazy shit, does not mean that you are doing yoga wrong. There's no way to look. There's no way to, I don't want to say there's no right way, because obviously there's a right way when it comes to safety and, alignment and things like that. But every single person on this planet has a different body. Like, I can have somebody who's the same size as me, same body measurements, and we're going to do yoga differently, right? So if you're just starting your practice, obviously it's easier said than done, but don't be intimidated by people that you see who are doing it, quote unquote, better than you, because they also had to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. There are also going to be things that you might not ever do. Chair pose is the devil. I hate it. It's the most simple pose that people love and all this stuff, and I refuse.
It's not simple.
Achilles. It's okay. I guess I should say, like, it's a pose that people. Well, see, there you go. For me, like, I used to feel like, why can't I do this pose? But it's like, there are so many poses that I know I'm not ever going to be able to do, or that I literally cannot do because of my body. And that's okay. So if you're practicing, like, just know that it's okay if you can't do something, if you can't do something yet. That's usually what it is. Or if you see someone doing something cool, like, I really started falling in love with yoga when I got a headstand, because I did not think I could do that. But somebody was like, hey, just start here. And then when you get there, you go here. You got to start somewhere. Like, don't focus on getting this pose, because when you get to that pose, it's probably not going to be as cool as you think it is. Like, somebody told me that, and I was like, it's true, honestly. Like, I do a lot of inversions and cool stuff, and I'm like, I wish I could do this though, So be patient. You don't need $200 yoga mats and yoga leggings. Like, it's not necessary. You can go to Five Below and get you a mat. Or, Amazon is where I have 3 mats from Amazon that are great.
Nice.
And then, okay, so the next one was yogis who want to become instructors.
Yes.
Just do it. Like, find you a place that, whether it be online learning or an actual, like, retreat, or, what do you call that? A session?
I don't know.
Like a class, I guess.
Yeah.
Just a class slot.
What I tend to call them is, like, the ones that are, like, a shorter amount of time are intensive. And then the ones that span a few months, I call those immersive. But I don't know.
Okay,
I think that's a me thing. So I don't know.
No, that sounds right. I know. I think intensive, like you said, the shorter one, and then immersive. I like that. I didn't know that one, but that one's a good one. Yeah. So any of those, like, figure out, like, your learning style. For me, for something as big as 200 hour, I knew that I needed to be in person. I needed to sit down with other people and talk and ask questions and be hands-on. But for prenatal, like, online was fine for me. I could take it at my own pace. Like, there's no rush to get it done. Same thing for 200 hours, 6 months long. Some people did it in 8 weeks. There's no way in hell I was doing that, because I would have gotten overwhelmed and pissed off and then probably quit. So
I would have forgotten everything. I would have forgotten
exactly
everything. Oh
so
my
much information
goodness.
to take in, but that's how some people learn. So if that's what you want to do, ask questions as well. Like ask people who are in YTT now who have taken it recently or who've done it, years ago. Or, you have to, if you are thinking about it and you keep thinking about it, I think that's a big sign that you just need to do it. And if it's expensive, look for scholarships because I got mine on scholarship.
Hell
So
yes.
do that. But don't go into YTT expecting just to learn poses. I feel like the majority of these classes are going to be more than that. Maybe you will get just nothing, but I doubt it, honestly. Like, I feel like if it's an actual YTT class, they're going to be legitimate. But don't go in there really with any expectations. Just open your mind, figure out what you want to do. It might change over the course of YTT, and be patient, ask questions, be yourself, and don't try to copy other instructors because you're going to find your own style of teaching.
Yes.
So
Find
that's
your
what I
own
got.
voice. I love it. That's great advice. Thank you for providing that.
Thank you.
So, where are you teaching right now?
Oh, good question. I teach for Mind Your Mat, but I don't have a consistent schedule. I kind of just post when I do teach, but we teach Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays, so you can see other instructors there as well. We have a thing tomorrow. I hope y'all can come to that. I know y'all aren't going to see this yet. Oh my God, are you going? I was hoping you were going. I was like, oh, is she going to go? I should ask her, but I forgot because
I'm finally glad I can finally come to something because I swear it's the hardest thing about being a yoga teacher with a bunch of yoga teacher friends. Is everybody's like, come to my class, come to my class. I'm like, I want to, but I teach too.
Oh, that makes me so happy because I was literally going to ask you like, when are your classes? Because I want to take your classes. But so Mind Your Mat, I teach for them. Our classes are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but I don't teach, every week. It's just instructors show up. And then I'm at Black Swan right now. I teach 6 a.m. at Bishop Arts, which I don't know if I'll be there for long because it's getting harder with the baby. But I start teaching at 1 p.m. on Lovers on Fridays. So that's going to probably be my most permanent. And then as I add more, I'll post. And I substitute. So you got to follow me on Instagram for all the things because this summer I'm also going to be doing pop-ups and park yoga and all of that stuff. So lots of things that are coming, including workshops, including plants. So
yes, because I did want to talk about the plants, but we ran out of time.
Sorry, I told you I can start talking and it won't stop. You got to give me some. Okay, Jasmine, let's go back to this, and I'll be like, okay, no problem.
No, that's very exciting. I am looking forward to seeing all of this come to light. And so, remind us again where we can find you on social media because we did mention Instagram, but mention it again and anywhere else that you got.
Literally Instagram is all I have. My Facebook is for work and my family because they're old. But Instagram is going to be Jassers, Jassers. You will know it's me, I promise. Otherwise, it's just an older gentleman who you don't want to follow. Maybe y'all will be friends and you can ask him to give me that dang URL or whatever it's called. But that's where you can find me because, specifics. It's fine. It's okay.
Well, Jazz, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. And I'm glad we finally got to do this because secret is she was supposed to be on season 1, but unfortunately we couldn't make it happen. Life. So I'm glad that we finally were able to get connected because I've been so excited to talk to you.
Dude, I'm excited to see you tomorrow. I didn't know you were coming. So Instagram met you last summer?
Yeah, I think so.
It had to be.
I don't even remember. Time is first of all a construct that I'm not even trying to keep track of anymore. So I don't even know.
Yeah. It's been a minute that we followed and communicated over social media, and I'm excited to actually meet you and hug you and say hi and talk about your locks because I'm let me get them I need that length and then I'm happy and that's it.
Look, I'm struggling to hold on to them. I don't know I think that's also an ADHD thing too, where I'm just cut the hair.
Just
or
change
comb
it.
them out, or just change it something. So more than likely it'll be red tomorrow, just so you know.
That's cool. I feel that.
Oh my goodness. Well, again, Jess, thank you so very much for your time. For everyone listening, thank you so much for your time too. Tune in next week for another fabulous instructor joining me again. I will see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, Tierney again. I know you just finished the podcast episode and you're probably wanting to just go about your business or listen to the next one, but I have some exciting news. We're monetizing the podcast now. I know. This is so cool. This is so cool. But anyway, with that said, we are now able to take donations directly from the podcast. So if you're listening on Spotify, head to the show notes and there is a link there that you can click to provide your support. If you are not listening on Spotify, we still got you covered. You can either go to the website or go to our link tree by way of our Instagram bio link. Your money would go towards supporting this platform in all of its ways, keeping the podcast alive, giving us the ability to offer programming in the future. And those programs will look like classes, workshops, and so much more. There's a lot planned for this platform and can't do it without your help. So if you do have it within you to help us out, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I appreciate everything that you all do for this community here. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Yoga in Black podcast. New episodes air every Tuesday, and next episode I'll chat with Kat Francis. You can find us on Spotify, Anchor, and iHeartRadio, or you can check us out on YouTube. And if you want to connect with us, you should head to our website, www.yogainblack.net, or on Instagram at yoga.inblack, and also on Facebook as Yoga in Black. We'll see you next week. Bye.